Yeah, he's a lot of stories. Stories are really good. You know, one of the most powerful ways to help people is to tell stories. You know, just like with Jan telling her story, you know, and some of you've seen, you know, she came up and you see her coming and you know this. How many of you notice that there's some shifts in people when they're here? And it's emotional shifts. I mean, they're subtle, they're very powerful, and, you know, it's amazing that we're talking about, I mean, something that nobody else can see. You know, you could be sitting here and you're thinking about what no one else can see. You're thinking about, like you talk about the story of all the 10 years of stuff. Nobody can see what she's thinking about, and it's really not real. No one can see it, but she can, and she feels it. And then here you go to one memory, one experience, or many experiences, and you shift how you see it. You shift how you internally represent it. You shift the emotions attached to it, and all of a sudden, the world starts to change before you. I mean, that to me, that is so amazing. It's something that nobody else can see. They can see your expression. You know, she said she's crying, and people are giving her, you know, coffee, cookies, donuts, ice cream, you know, and, you know, trying to say, okay, it'll be okay. But, you know, it's interesting that we can see something's going on, but no one knows. You know, it's kind of interesting. One of the things that I have really discovered in this year, in this last couple of years, it really breaks down to this one basic way of how we do things, and that is the value of the internal communication you have. It's the internal communication. You know, if you develop great internal communication skills. Now, what does that mean, internal communication skills? That means if you are paying attention to what you are doing inside you, the value of your life will be determined by your quality of internal communication. Do you hear what I'm saying? Within yourself. Now, let's say, for example, you're great at external communication. That means you can talk and you can sell and you can sing like Elvis Presley, or you can be a John Belushi, or you could be some of all these other, and they're really external great communicators. But inside, they're crappy internal communicators. That means they don't know that this internal dialogue and the pictures and the bad emotions that they feel inside themselves is going to end up killing themselves. Because you can't take enough drugs to get rid of it. You can't smoke enough, you can't eat enough to change what you're not noticing that you're doing. So it's the value of the ability to change what you do to yourself, the internal communication. And of course, you know, the whole seminar has been basically about internal communication. What you are doing to you. You know, because I've been teaching seminars here for about 6-7 years, and you know, this anger group is really interesting. You know, it's not. I mean, it's almost like we don't. It's hard to pull people up and say, let's address this. So you've noticed that, haven't you? And I guess because we're so proud of our anger, we don't really want to let it go because we're justified with our own anger. I mean, we're justified with it. Well, this is what you're supposed to do. It's a family tradition. You know, I mean, it is crazy. And of all of them, I thought this is the most interesting seminar I've ever given. I mean, really. Well, I'll do some others I hadn't done yet. Sex, you know, I'll do the sex one. You talk about, let's see what happens there, you know. All men show up? No, I don't know if men will show up either, but, you know, they may, because we're talking about sexual healing. You know, sexual transformation. Physical, emotional, sexual abuse. So I hadn't done that one yet, or depression seminar yet. You know, I always say, well, it's going to be really great to have a room full of depressed people. Pass the donuts and the chocolate, right? But, you know, what is really depression, really? Depression is merely just bad internal communication. Yeah, it could be an anger turned inward, for sure. Self-punishment. And usually depression is what we take from what our parents did to us, and then we just start taking their job over. You know, we do it on the inside. We start beating ourselves up. We start mimicking and mirroring what our parents did. Or we don't have the ability to let go, and there's some weird belief systems out there about if you lose somebody, you're supposed to be depressed. You're supposed to feel sad every time you think about them. And, you know, and of course, then if you have this great ability to beat yourself up, depression is that. So the deal is we have to figure out how to develop better internal communication skills. That's the key. And that's why when we started back at the class, I said, hey guys, when we come right here and we're talking about memories. If you have a memory inside you, all the characters of the memory in the memory are really you. So that means if somebody is doing it to somebody and you're watching it inside you, you're not only affirming this to be a part of your reality, but you're also affirming both actions, the receiver and the giver. And so if you like this kind of stuff, then you keep it handy and you keep rehearsing it and you share it and you somehow the magic button will be pushed and you'll start acting the bad part. And you do it without even thinking. It just pop through because it's already in there. So this is internal communication. So if you have bad memories inside you and if you have memories that are harmful and hurtful, the first thing you want to do is welcome the gift. And that gift is going to help you heal. And how you allow it to heal you is you step into it and you use skills. Now we're using the tapping skills. Now there are other ways to change things. Do you realize that? Tapping is not the only way. Now, well, I want you to say that again.
There are some people who just never get it.
Yeah.
They just never. They block. They must form a block or whatever. They just never get it. My mother's 94 and she's never gotten it.
Well, she hadn't been to the seminar yet.
True.
Like she said, she's never going to get it.
She's
She's never going to get it. Well, yeah. But you have to realize too, guys, you have to understand, mother, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, if they don't get it, it's okay. I want you to say, if they don't get it, it's okay. Because you don't want to sit in judgment of it. Because you just have to realize the reason why they don't get it is because they don't get it. And you know what? They're fully comfortable with what they don't get. And at peace with it. Now here we are, we're learning, we're growing, and if we don't get the idea that if you judge that they don't get it, you're judging yourself too. And then it's kind of like when I first started this stuff, and of course somebody said I'm metaphysical. I said, meta what? Metaphysical, spiritual, kind of a little bit higher than the church or away from the church, and so I'm hanging around metaphysical group. Now, of course, the metaphysical group, there's some good truths there, but they're also judging and condemning the group that they left, which is also supporting the same problem, but the church that they left is doing the same thing to them, and it's like a vicious cycle. It's like it's the judge and I'm better than you're better. Join my church. Let's create a new church. Let's do this, and we're always going to be guys. Just let it go and just say, love it. Just say, wow, interesting behavior. I see you like that, huh? It's interesting, and there was somebody I met, and I could just see their internal dialogue, and I'm listening to what they say, and I said, man, I could really help this person. But how do you offer help? I said, I texted them, I said, hey, you know what? Here's my website. Go to my website. I will give you some time. I'll give you some of my time. I'll give you 10 hours of my time. I'll give you 10 hours of my time. Just go to my website and see if you're interested. And they went to my website and I watched some videos and said, well, I don't know if I have any problems. I don't know if you can, can you do plastic surgery? I said, well, you look good the way you are. Because see, here's the problem. It's normal to be wherever we are. Seriously. It was normal to be in our mess. It was normal. Wasn't normal when you get all angry at the line? It's a family tradition. It's normal. Even though you felt it, the feeling wasn't good, and probably because you become more emotionally aware of your emotions. But see, it's normal to be in our mess and our funk. Isn't that right? Isn't that right, Grace? Here you are. You're in that years of mess, and Linda says, hey, there's a better way. And you said, yeah, but my case is special. Yeah, she doesn't know how sick I really am. Yeah. And you know what? Of course, I have people call me all the time for sessions. And you know what? I hear this all the time. Well, I'm probably worst case that you've ever met. And the first thing I say, you're absolutely right. You are the worst one, and I'm so glad you called me because I want to test my skills. Because they all think they're the worst one. And they often think I'm the only one with this problem. Because you don't share it. I mean, you keep it to yourself and you rehearse it when you got spare time. Laying in bed at night, can't sleep because you're thinking about all the bad stuff. So we are doing this to us. So it goes back to internal dialogue. It's back internal representation. So we're talking...